Good morning. Excuse me, my cereal. So, our dungeon generator is working pretty nice. It's basically just rooms with stuff on them right now. One of the most important things we need to do right now is go through these prefabs that we're using and set up an LOD group. And what that's going to do, I don't need these, I just need one. And I want to put it about something like that. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go to 3% actually. I'm going to copy it at this stage, and then I'm going to drag in the mesh renderers. So if I go past that threshold, it's not going to draw it anymore. Excuse me. That was a sudden one. And I think we can go more. We can go bigger than that. We'll go up to like 6, 7. Very important for pretty much everything. Otherwise, the camera can't tell if stuff is behind a wall, whatnot. It can if you're building a static game, which we are not. We are building everything on the fly, procedural. So, fortunately, we have to manage these things as best we can with tools like this. Candles, pillar. Is that a candle pillar? That looks like candles. It's a candle pillar. Let's put the pillar on there. Pillar is on there. I guess I just wasn't seeing it. Candles. Chain. Basically, we just don't. We want all distant objects to just not be rendering, period. Because you can't see them anyway. But then when you get up close to them, then to go ahead and render. And same with all of this stuff too. Now this is not 100% free. It of course does take up some amount of performance to be making these checks, but still, when something's really far off and you can't even see it, you definitely want it to not be drawing itself constantly. Half stair down is not being used. Outer stair pillars not being used. Rocks are being used. There's a whole bunch of them. See, and it'll just toss all of them in there for me. And using their total bounds, something like that is fine. Turret slot thingy. Meurtrier. Like so. Like so. Stair pillars not being used. Stairwell. Now this is our bit of a problem. We shouldn't have unpacked those prefabs. Because again, it would control all of this stuff for us. It would have updated all of this stuff for us automatically. If the prefabs were still connected and we changed the prefabs. So that was a bad decision on my part. We can just stick one giant. I'm going to lock the inspector so I don't lose this focus. Grab everything, toss it in there. Some of them are actually still, yeah, what is this, the stairs? There's some in the stairs that are, so we need to cancel that. You know, and honestly, at this point, we should probably just break these guys down as well. Doesn't help just to have a couple in here that do work. I don't foresee any more changes, and there's no way to go backwards. Like, we can't say that this floor is actually that prefab. You can't do that, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to unfortunately remove the final links that these guys have, just to make the whole thing its own thing. I'm holding Alt while I open and close these. If you don't hold Alt, it doesn't expand everything. If you do hold Alt, it expands everything. And likewise, if you hold Alt when you close it, it'll close everything. So like this, it'll close everything. So I'm going to lock it on this again. I'm just going to grab, you know, actually I don't even need to do that. I can just toss everything in there. Pretty sure it didn't give me any warnings that time. So now I've got all of the meshes in here. Only thing is, now it's going to wait until this entire thing gets cold. But that's acceptable, honestly. Something like this. We're only ever going to be seeing the stairs and the top, and we're in a dark dungeon that hopefully we don't really notice distant objects too much to begin with in the first place. And same thing with this guy. Doesn't need to be, maybe more like 10, 12, 11, something like that. Because he's big. Stairwell isn't what we just looked at. Torch. He's pretty tiny. Leave him at something like 3. The wall bends. These are a lot bigger, so put them up a little more. Spikes. That. This is just our basic wall. And these guys. Okay, pretty small. And last but not least, the wood pillar, which is pretty big. Still has this sketchy side. If somebody knows what that sketchy side is. I would appreciate an explanation. We'll go like that. And that should keep our dungeon from lagging when we look in a certain direction. I can still tell, I think it's that direction. Okay, yeah, so now here's a problem that we need to work on. And let's see. Or can I get around that? I don't think I can get around that. Let me in. I believe he's connected to this wall. So he's looking behind it. And he is checking this side and this side as well, just to be safe. But he does also need to check this side to make sure that it's not a corridor. If it's a floor, that's okay. A corridor, we're going to have problems with. This is going in our decoration. That's a low decoration. We're already checking to see if the ones back and behind are clear. But let's also add and something along the lines of, let's see, cell populated area. In this case, we're looking at x plus 1. So we're not going to do that. We're going to look at z plus 1 and z minus 1 right in the same position we are, and make sure that they it could be null, it could be floor. we want to do our dungeon generator is corridor. Ideally, we want to make sure it's not a corridor. So we want it to not be any type of door. We want it to likewise not be any type of corridor. I'm not sure if I just said that right. No doors, no corridors. Alright. Gonna do that for the rest of these, but for these guys, this one is Z minus 1. Oops. And then we're gonna check plus and minus on the X, correct? What's going on here? Didn't put an and there. And this guy's gonna be X minus 1. Checking on his Z's. And this guy is gonna be Z plus 1. Checking on the X's. So that should stop any of the when did all these show up? Registered with more than one LOD group. Really? SM floor 00 on LOD group stairwell clone. How did we mess that up? All we did was throw everything in there. Did those guys already have their LODs? Look at that, they do. Let's see. I can do T, and I believe LOD group will show me all of those. I'm going to remove them. T is for type. I'm going to recollapse that just for OCD's sake. Like that. And we should clear on play and not get that error anymore. Warning. Okay. Now, let's go look at this starting bit. We do need to add an entrance too, don't we? Still don't have our entrance and exit. But, what is that, ceilings? Oh, the garbage truck is here. I didn't take the garbage out. Sad times. So it's building stuff, but it's not blocking the... There, it did block it. So this is supposed to be a low dealy. His pivot's right there. He's at a 270. He's a low decoration. He's a 270. First thing he does is look behind him, Z minus 1. So we can see this is the world axis. He then looks to the left and the right of that to make sure that they're null, which is good. And then he is checking to see if... yeah, this should not be Z plus 1. So I did a few of these wrong, didn't I? Yeah, he should be looking right where he is, but on the X. This guy should be looking right where he is, but on the Z. This guy should be looking right where he is, but on the X. I'm saying that wrong. For that guy should have been staying on his Z. This guy should have been staying on his X. This guy should be staying on his Z. Oops, that's not right. And this guy should be staying on his X, as he is. Okay, staying on our X, staying on our Z, staying on our X, staying on our Z. That should fix that. It's a nice entrance. What are you doing, Peep Jam? I haven't made my coffee yet. My hot water heater was empty. I can hear it warming up, and I accidentally put more water over my fire. It looks like it's ready to go, though. I think I'm gonna make a quick cup of coffee here. Oh, what about this case? That's uninviting, but I can still get over that. Yeah, no? I probably could in Solace Crafting. The controller for this guy is just something I threw together. No, doesn't want to let me in there. I mean, do we need all of this stuff in the first room? Maybe we should hand make the first room a little bit. How about that? We're doing like so. Let's say for int 1. Now for dungeon cell 0, dungeon cell starter cell. Sure, just rename it there. Starter cell equals dungeon generator dot dungeon cells number 0. What shall we do? Decorate starter cell. Gonna pass the cell right to it. And let's see, let's put it down at the bottom. Decorate starter cell. And we're passing it the dungeon cell itself. It's a void. We know that it is a 3x3. We can do this X looping stuff if we want. But we should actually know where those populated areas are. if we look back, that's our 0, that's our center, isn't it? Let's move our little chain. Oh, he's already at 2020. Really? What happens with chain buddy is at 0, 0. It gets tossed all the way over there. Oh, we upped the cell size, didn't we? Cell size is now 20. So, that's 20 times 3, which is 60. So, 10, 20, 30. We've got 1 and then 2 on the positive is what's going on. So we're at 29, 30, and 31. And we really should, work using variables in case we change any of those. So let's go ahead and say I want to, what do I want to do? How about we say int rand equals -1. If rand is equal to -1, then I want you to roll for it. Otherwise, I can specify what it is I want to spawn. And what this means is that it's an optional input. So it's going to assume that it's -1 if I don't provide it with a rand of its own. If rand equals -1, roll anew. I think we've set all of them. Low decorations, high decorations, and center decorations. Int rand equals -1, and if rand equals -1, re-roll it. So now I can say I want you to generate a low decorate, well, let's say high first. Generate high decoration. I want it to be on our grid size of grid space, because this is going to multiply by 3 when it actually spawns it. So this is our grid position. And I want to do, I need to go to the dungeon generator and get the cell lateral size divided by 2. Which we did set as an integer. Or an even number, so it will properly give us 15, or what in this case, 10. And then we wanted to, let's see, so we're at 0, we're right in the middle, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This might be, let's give this a try actually. I'm gonna do generate centerpiece right in the middle. Middle X, Y 0. Once again with the dungeon generator cell. Dungeon generator dot cell lateral divided by 2. And rotation 0. I'm gonna feed it the candle pillar. So I'm going to say 0. It should spawn a candle pillar right in the middle. I'm just not sure if it's going to go here or if it's going to go here. I think it might go here. Nope, that did go right in the middle. Okay. So, good to know. Knowing that, I'm going to go ahead and just make something like int midpoint equals this, so I don't have to keep writing that. Midpoint, and we don't actually want that. Yeah, we might. I think I'd like a manzir actually. Let's do 2. And now I'm going to do some high decorations at, let's see, XZ. So we want to do midpoint plus 1, 1, and midpoint plus 1. And I want this to be facing south. I believe it starts facing north, so I want to do 180. And I also want to do 1, well, let's just try 1. Did I give it a number? I don't think I did. We want it to spawn the banner. I like number 1 a little better, so 2. This is some manual placement here, so there we go. We got a banner next to our entrance there. We've got a light source from our little brazier. I want to look up how to pronounce that. I feel like I'm not doing myself, or making a fool of myself perhaps. Brazier, probably. So we all know what a brazier is. Anyway, I need some coffee. So that's cool. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to do that, honestly. And honestly, we kind of want to force the start there. Well, we need to build an exit, is the thing. So, let's go ahead and generate like so. Let's pause. And then let's say we are building a little stairway back out of here. So we've got half stair down, just as easily staircase up. 23 maybe, 24, and let's see, 30, nope, 27, nope, 33, and 1.5. How's that? Nice and connected. We're gonna need some pillars for those walls. Stair, what are they called? Stone pillar. That's the big pillar. Did we never grab them on their own? I guess we did not. We certainly should have. I'll just drag one out. Let's see now. Yeah. Anyway, create empty, bring it out, reset it, call him the, we already called these guys stone pillar. Stone pillar 1. just for now. Yeah. So then I'm gonna put him at 0, 0, 0 and probably have to adjust him a little bit. And we want him to be 2433-ish. Let's go 27. And we're going to duplicate one of them over to there. And I can get through that. No sweat, right? Yeah. Oops, did I? No, I didn't do it. Okay. Does this not have a collider? Doesn't look like it does. Well, we'll fix that. Anyway. Not sure if the wall is fine like that or... No, that's ugly beneath it, isn't it? Yeah, it's super ugly. So let's get rid of you. Lots of walls. Might want to organize these into cells. But anyway. Stone pillar. I'm going to duplicate and move up. Oh, I didn't scale these guys, that's why. 0.75 is your preferred scaling. This guy as well. That's even easier to walk through now. And likewise this guy. Move him up to 3. And we'll get one of those wall... Didn't move those down either, did we? Wall... What was it called? Wall stone? No. Wall half? No. Wall top. That was it. We want a wall top, and I want to make... trying to make prefabs out of these. Stone pillars. Where to get the stairs? Stone wall top. Get you your own game object. Put you down here. Put you like so. You're probably gonna need to be 0.75 on all of these. And what were we at? 24, 33, something like that. Okay, 90 degrees for you. Let's move forward to 27. He needs to be offset by 1.5 in the positive. So what about when he's not rotated? Let's just double check. He's not rotated. 2733. Let's go ahead and make him like that. Move him back here. 2733, and I think he needs to be at number 3. Rotated at 90. And is that going to cover the back side as well? Yep, that looks good. Okay, so we've got our portal out. Let's go ahead and make a game object to store all of this. Entrance, sure. The chain I keep forgetting to delete. This is all part of the wall top. Yeah, him too. Entrance. Now I want to add a bit more stairs. What do they need? I think maybe 2. How did you get that number? What's going on? Oh, we're now local. So, what? Alright, take that stuff out of there, please. Get down to 0. Get down to 0. I think the positioning is fine. Move it all back on there. Now you, sir, need to be at 3 and -6. Now we just need some walls. So I'm going to copy you, bring you down into here. What are we at? 24, 33, something like that? No. Oh no, we're local now, so 0, 0, 0, and this, and we can duplicate, bring it over here. Likewise, we can take both of those, duplicate again, bring them back to 6, take all of those, duplicate them, bring them up to 3, and I think that that is fair enough. So let's grab a floor piece. I don't want to mess with this anymore, actually. Too hard to get stuff out of there. I'm just going to add not a wall, floor. I'm going to make it a child. I'm going to flip it. I want to bring it back here, move it up to, I believe, 6. And just move it back 3. Duplicate it. Back another 3. And voila. And I'll take this stone wall, duplicate him, and rotate him 90 degrees. And we've got ourselves a little entrance. Now, I kind of would like to actually make this guy special so that he's just black. In order to do that, he's already not linked to his prefab, which is good. These guys still are. Just for sake of continuity, I'm going to unpack them. All or nothing. So this guy's material, I'm going to change to black. So now he is just this wow. And we're going to add, I think everything in here has colliders on it. Although this doesn't. Wall top. Box collider. Yeah, we hadn't made one here yet, and we'll do that in a second. Stone pillar. These guys don't either now. Let's move the staircases next to one another. Open up the stone pillars. Each of them get their own box collider. The staircases, however, they have mesh colliders already. That's good. Whoops. And the walls have them as well. Correct. Those are all just copies. The floor likewise does. What about these stairs? Do not have LODs. Paste component as new. Very good. Drag yourself in there. And for the entrance, we could do it as a single LOD, which is slightly more efficient. I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me. Walls do, the floors do, the walls have LODs. This is that guy in the back. Floors, LODs, colliders. These guys don't have LODs. The wall top likewise does not. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just give it to him. I'm doing paste as new so that it doesn't give me the 1, 2, 3 by default. Because I know I don't have multiple layers of detail. I'm only using this for culling. And that should give us a nice little entrance. Maybe we'll put something above there in our manual spawning. Copy that out himself as a prefab. Now we need to get that to spawn. Big chopper going overhead again. Curious why they're so low. Looked like 3 Osprey actually. I didn't have my glasses on. Sometimes they're going from one military base to another. They fly right over us. So currently our starting cell is already generating those walls. Let's see if we can't stop that. Generate room, generate floor is fine. Generate wall gets called in this sequence of stuffs. Add the walls. What is that? Dungeon cells. Generate walls. Okay. We don't have any sort of a... Well, I guess if int is 0, and we are going to be looking at the south wall, which is this guy. Not the doors. Let's look at these guys. If northeast, southwest, hopefully, if x does not equal 0, right, and we're looking behind us and it's null, we build a floor. However, I'm going to do that and we want to say if I is equal to 0 and Z is equal to the cell lateral size divided by 2, right on that center point. we've got both of these correct and y is equal to 0 or y is equal to 1. See, and I put these in parentheses because this can be one or the other. And then these in parentheses because, well, these actually don't need to be parentheses. This has to be true, this has to be true, and one of these has to be true. In that case, I want you to not do anything. Otherwise, you can go ahead and do your stuff. Another way to say this would be if I does not equal 0 or z does not equal cell lateral size divided by 2 or y does not equal 0 and y does not equal 1. With this method we can actually tack it on to right here. We just need to say and. So let's add a comment there, stopping the first two walls of cell 0 for the entrance to spawn. So we know why that's there. And let's move this back down just so that we know what the extra logic is. A little easier if we come back to look at it. And then we can say when we generate the starter cell, let's go ahead and add our entrance prefab. We're going to do some of that, and we're going to game object entrance equals instantiate entrance prefab. That's a big boy. Entrance dot transform dot position equals x. Let's see, new vector 3. X is midpoint minus 1, 0, midpoint, I think z is right on the midpoint. He might actually be plus 1. Plus 1, let's see how that works. Entrance.transform.local scale. I always like to just make sure that it's set up as 1. And entrance.transform.set parent to game object to transform. We'll give it its own little spot to be there. And let's see if that works. Nope. Where did it go? Oh, no, well, that's true. We have to drag it into our reference, or it doesn't know what the heck we're talking about. Entrance prefab. There we go. Looks like the walls are properly not spawning though, so that's good. Those two are not spawning. Where did the entrance go? I probably need to be doing times 3 for all of those numbers, don't I? Since I'm doing it myself. Midpoint minus 1 times 3. Because these are just the grid values. Actual world position values are 3 times as big. Because each piece is 3 meters squared. And there we go. It leads to darkness. Now, we'll put a trigger there when we bring it into Solace Crafting so that we go back to the surface when we get to this point. Let's look at our braziers. How come you don't have a collider? And go ahead and move a little closer than that. You're probably not gonna want to. I'm just gonna give you a box. We're gonna move it up to like 0.7. We're gonna crank it up to like 1.5, maybe 1.6. Could have been better as a capsule maybe, but this looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that's fine. You'll be able to touch it just a little bit. So there's that. Is there anything else? These guys don't need it. Yeah, I just kind of skipped over some of these was all. Like this one, candle pillar. You also very much need a box collider. 0.7 again with our 1.4-ish. Looks fine. Banners don't really. Candles don't. Chain, nah. Door we had to make mesh. Dungeon builder, dungeon generator, entrance floor does. Half stair down does. Did it for rocks. Did it for... No, I don't think slots need it. Pillars we not using. Stairwell, stone pillar 1. That's the small guy. Torch we left alone too, I believe. And we might mess with some things eventually. But looking good so far. Let's see, do we want to add some monsters? Or do we want to add some traps? I think we should add some monsters. Let's see, group 1, I'm voting for the goblin types. Let's say this guy and this guy for starters. It's our goblin, and it's just not a kobold, but whatever. Kobolds are dragonkin. Let's go ahead and select him. Kobold, let's select his dependencies. He's got a bunch of animations and goodies. Where'd he go? I was gonna just kind of wanted to click on this. There we go. Export package. Now, don't include your own silly dependencies. Maybe that works now. It actually looks like it kind of works. I want to go to Unity Projects Test 3 Assets. We'll call this guy. This is our kobold. What do we want to call him? I mean, he's a goblin. Let's say goblin 2. I'm gonna make some coffee real quick. I got it all set up. Hi, kitties. What are you doing? Make some coffee with me. Let's get that goblin going too. Sometimes when you let it select its own dependencies, at least in the past, it used to grab all kinds of just weird, unrelated stuff. Oh, excuse me. It looks like it's not doing that anymore, which is good. We're gonna just call this guy goblin number 1. And then we'll just bring them in here. And of course, I don't have pathfinding set up in this. This is just a test project. So these guys aren't actually going to work. You know, I'm not going to be able to get them to chase me or do anything like that. But we would like to get them to be spawning some places at least. And I think, you know, maybe one of the bigger guys. This guy's got some fancy animations, I'm sure. What's he called? Darkness Warlord. Let's look at his 2-hit combo. Yeah, he's got some fun attacks, no doubt. 2-hit combo 2. 2-hit combo 3. 3-hit combo. 1, 2, 3. Don't stand in front of him when he's doing that. Yeah, these are pretty cool. That's gotta hurt. Just gotta roar. That's cool. Just gotta find some nice noises for him. What's his death look like? Ooh. Cool. I think he'd make a great bossy type. But anyway, let's just start with these guys. Now, the thing about mobs is they move and they attack and they die and they protect stuff. That is a late cup of coffee. So I think I'm going to create a second or third script that we can call Dungeon AI. I think I already have a script in Solace Crafting called Dungeon AI. I might even have one called Dungeon Generator. Let's go double check. Nothing there. What about under World Encounters? No, we good? Where else might there be one? Oh, I clicked Encounters. That's Dungeons. Dungeon AI and Dungeon Creator. Alright, so maybe not Dungeon AI. Let's see then what to call it. Dungeon Offense. Dungeon Dungeon Generator AI, I guess. And since it's a mono behavior, we're going to need to go and actually change the class name as well, so Unity knows it's the correct thing. Now let's see, we're not going to have an update. We might have a start. We definitely want to have a public void. Well, let's say generate. And we definitely want to have a reference to our dungeon generator. So we're going to add that to our dungeon generator itself. And we're going to just give him his own reference to himself so he doesn't have to grab it. Make sure all of that's applied properly. Now, this guy starts up. He calls generate, at the end of which he calls dungeon generator decorator decorate. We're now also going to want him to call Dungeon Generator AI. Hope I'm not getting cold. My wife's been she wasn't feeling good yesterday. Tried to talk me into going. I think she wanted to go rollerblading today. Which I'm not against, but she's not feeling well. We'll do that someday else. Dungeon AI dot generate is now also being called after decoration takes place. So the question arises, when we go through the decorator, let's move the AI over here. When we go through the decorator and we spawn certain things, for example, our low decorations, and most of our center decorations, we kind of want to mark that area as something like occupied. Corridor, right now they're just going to be floor. Let's go ahead and say like something like that. And in our decorator, when we go through and decorate, if we spawn a low decoration at that position, let's go ahead and cell dot populated areas. This is generated by doing x minus cell position dot x times dungeon generator dot lateral. It's a mouthful, but that's how it works. Likewise with the z, equals ocupado. And let's not worry about high decorations. Let's also do that for center decorations though. So low decorations have the highest chance. If we do get a low decoration, we're not going to spawn any of this, which is a little funky. Like I say, I kind of want to give a greater chance to some things, like, let's see, and there's a few ways that we can do that. For example, say we want to have, we've got lots of spikes and bends, but we want to actually have more torches and more, say we want to have 3 times the chains and double the torches. What we can do is go like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll have this guy grab up to 7, which means he'll actually only grab up to 6. So now we've got 3 chances of getting chains, 2 chances of getting torches, and only 1 chance of the spike and bend dealies. Likewise, yeah, I'd like to grab a lot less banners. Maybe 3 of these and 4 of these. And this is almost getting to the point where we want to make this a switch, but not a big deal. Once again, that's a 9. And candle pillar. Yeah, like I want to have a lot of rocks spawning. Brazier, I don't know how to pronounce it. I just want to say brazier. That's cool. What's happening, Art? My chat's working. Gotta move it on to the left again so I can spot it. Just about to get some monsters in. Just sorting out some little stuff here. Candles, I like that too. Let's move candles down and be like that. And candle pillar prefab. Yeah. So for these, we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one also will go up to 8. And so yeah, for center, we're changing it from floor to occupied. And this is post generation, so that's fine. We're now just decorating. And yeah, let's just take a peek, make sure we haven't broken anything. Let's go ahead and do a, let's see, there we broke something. 73, base X, cell position, so we've actually already got that. X, Oh, interesting. So no, we want to be doing. I was all wrong. Base x and base c plus c equals ocupado. Yeah, what's up? How you doing, Chris? Cell dot populated areas base x base c plus c. Leaning forward. I better push my mic back. Anyway, that should fix our little bug there. Nope, still got a bug there, huh? Cell position dot x times. Oh, yeah. I'm silly. Well, this is really what we were just doing, is all. Define cell size lateral x minus base x. C minus base c. Isn't that what we were just doing? X minus base x. Looks good. Populated areas. X, X, X. Problem with the organization. You certainly don't have to start a business. Some packages require, I've always worked as a actual business, so maybe I've just never run into that. But, let's see. If you go to your Unity account, you should be able to just set up an organization, and I think you can just name it whatever, my organization. Just to make sure I don't show something important off here. Where is all of that stuff? I don't think it's actually on the asset store. It's more just on like the Unity site. Unity services. I'm not totally sure where this website is. If you can just go to idunity.com or not. I think so. But if you've got your account made, you should be able to go to idunity.com, and then you can just make organizations. And you can manage them, but they don't necessarily. Unity doesn't even know that I'm actually a business. Like, I haven't sent them my, business identification number or anything like that. Really, the only thing is, that some assets require seats, and when you buy certain assets, you have to have someone assigned to that seat. Like, I know Visual Studio, or not Visual Studio, something like Vegetation Studio, or Gaia is maybe what you were looking at. You can see if it'll actually, that's not at all what I clicked on. Why did it go to Map Magic? Vegetation Studio. I guess it knows that I own it, so it doesn't want to show it to me. But these have seats. And I'm pretty sure it says they need to make that more clear somewhere. But certain items require you to purchase them per seat. So like if you buy 3D models, usually they don't. But this is a tool. So for every person that uses the tool, you have to add them to your organization and buy a seat for them. So which are you trying to buy? Were you trying to buy like Gaia or Map Magic or something like that? Because those are probably all going to have seat requirements. So you need to set up an organization and then get into the settings of that and give yourself a seat within that organization, I think is what you're running into. Still getting that error. Better look and see what the X numbers we're getting are. Well, no, yeah, we don't need to do any of that. It's just XZ. I'm being silly. Oh, nature manufacturer? Yeah, that probably doesn't have a seed requirement. And those guys are really cool. I can link you their Discord if you want to actually ask them. They're in their Discord every day. But yeah, these shouldn't have seat requirements. License, single entity, recommended for individuals or small businesses. Unity does not allow the transferring of assets. I think that's strictly forbidden in their terms of services. People have asked if they can sell stuff, and technically they're against it, but yeah, you know, like someone will have an account with a bunch of stuff on it and they're like, I'm not going to do Unity anymore, and then they want to sell their account that has all that stuff unlocked on it, and I'm pretty sure that they don't support that. But Nature Manufacturer, they're really nice, smart people, and they have a very active Discord. If you needed to, you might check out their support channel. Even if they don't respond, there's a bunch of people in there. Somebody might say, "Oh, check this out." Yeah, like for this, you can, as an LLC, anybody in the business can use it. The one that I showed earlier, where they have seat requirements, that means that only one person can be using it at a time. So if somebody opens the project that's making use of the tool, while you also have the project open, even if you're not making use of the tool, the project itself is, and you have to buy multiple seats. But these are assets that are built for projects. I'm not sure what this multi-entity stuff does, and then C details says the exact same thing, which is just stupid. Licensing applies to an entity as well as parent, child, and sister entities. Oh, so this is basically for contractors, I would say. No, contractors also need a separate license. Yeah. Licenses apply to a single entity, but an entity is a corporation, like a small business. If you had multiple studios within your range of services and you had contractors that you're working for and stuff, that's when you would need to be buying multiple asset licenses. I'm pretty sure Chris is just working on himself, but even if you had a small team of dudes working together, you don't need to buy each of them a copy of this kind of stuff. Yeah, so that should have fixed that. Still something. Getting angry. Dungeon generator AI. I probably just didn't click them in there. Anyway, what was the whole point of that? Yeah. We got our entrance, and I think we should put, didn't we put banners at the front here? How come there's no banners at the front? I thought, oh, we changed those, so now I'm getting walls. Let's put a couple of torches at the front too, and not those candles in the middle. Starter cell. So we changed these numbers. Generate center decoration. I might not do that at all anymore, but the banners are now what? 7 and 8. I like the first one. I want to do 7, 7, and I want to do generate low decoration as well. And I want to get some torches. Who's got some torches for me? 0 works. Let's see how that looks. Did I rotate those? I think so. Where did it put? Did I put them at +1? I did, didn't I? 0, 0, and actually let's do, hello stop nut, what's happening? I don't know which is which. I'm just gonna do 90 and 270 and take a look. I want to get torches spawning on the walls, and I got them backwards. Wouldn't you know it? 270. There we go. Couple of torches, couple of banners, right as we come in from our little entrance here. And then who knows what waits inside? Who knows? The shadow knows. Random bits and rocks and stuffs. And yada yada. Maybe a little dark. We'll see. Let's start spawning some monsters. So, we've got our dungeon generator AI. I might want to make a list of... Let's just go ahead and do game object goblin 1 prefab, and we'll do goblin 2 prefab. And I'll just drag those on right away so I don't forget. And actually, let's bring them into the scene once and take a look at them. Might want to give them some changes. Yeah, I'll leave them out of there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do Goblin 1 and Goblin 2. I'm gonna make new copies of them down here. And let's see. Don't think they've got got a nice sword on him, but they don't have any. There, that's the player. No colliders, which give or take. This guy's interesting. So I can take his shirt and stuff off, huh? Maybe some of them have a hood, some of them don't have a hood. Some of them don't have shoulder pads, some of them do. That's cool. Give a little variance. This guy looks kind of stoned, but whatever. I just want to give him a basic capsule collider to begin with. What did I click there? Capsule collider. It's probably going to be taller than that. Maybe not quite as thick. Yeah, not quite as tall. Something kind of like that. And we'll probably do rag dolls for them later, but I think I did copy, didn't I? Yeah. We'll do that, and then we also definitely want to add the LOD component as well, so these guys aren't rendering at a distance. I don't think they have any built-in LODs. It's always kind of nice when they do, but they don't. He's got some armor that's toggleable. I think the rest of that is any of that selectable? Forearm armor. So I can turn those on and off. Shield on and off if I want to. Cool, cool. LODs. Put everything into here. And we'll move it back to something like here. Goblin 2 needs one as well. Put all of his stuff into there and move it back to something like here. Their eyeballs are separate. I can make them look around even. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to apply those changes. Did I leave his shoulder pads off or something? No, they look good. Apply those changes and delete. And now on our AI script, we want to grab Goblin 1 and Goblin 2. And once again, on the generator script here, we're going to loop through our cells, and we're going to say generate monsters. This is going to be a dungeon cell. We'll just call it cell. It's from the dungeon generator cells at position I. And we're going to be looking through this cell for int. Well, we've already got that listed here as well. For this, we're going to loop through if cell dot populated areas xz does not equal area type floor. So everything that we spawned something on, we renamed it to occupied. So only open floors should be remaining that we want to look at. I guess we'll just say if it is floor, let's do a random. Let's do serialize field float goblin, well, let's just say monster spawn chance, and let's start that out at 0.15. And then we're going to grab a random number from the dungeon generator, get chance, using, let's say, cell.position.x times 999, comma, cell.cellPosition.y. And since we're calling this many times, let's actually not do that every loop. Let's do an int3 called pos equals cell.cellPosition. And let's just say pos x, pos y times 888, pos z times 777. And then if rand is less than or equal to our monster spawn chance, then we're going to spawn a monster at int x, int y, int z. Don't even have my speakers on. 10 o'clock, time for a break, but let's get this going. We are at x. Let's see. Yeah, we want to figure out the bases once again to pass on to our spawner. Base x plus x, base y plus nothing, and base z. And here we're going to once again do a float rand equals dungeon generator dot get chance. We'll do x times 123, y times 456, and z times 789. No, I didn't want chance. I want to do get random. And I want to do 0 to 1. And if rand equals 0, we're going to have a game object called go that equals null. But if we roll a 0, we want go to equal instantiate goblin 1. Yeah, we did want that actually. If rand equals 1, we're going to do goblin 2 prefab, and then go.transform.position is going to now equal, let's go ahead and set up, well, let's just do this for now. New vector 3, x times 3, y times 3, and z times 3. Go.transform.scale is equal to vector 3.1, and go.transform.euler equals new vector 0, comma, let's say just random.range. This is going to be true random 0 to 3, 2, 3, 59. Have them face some random direction. And go.transform.setParent to, we'll just set it to transform for now. Though I will definitely add that to their own transform when they get going. We're calling generate monsters, spawn monsters. Let's see if they spawn, and then we'll go take a little break. There are goblins spawning somewhere. Stuff is LODing correctly. So first room. First room is lucky. Didn't get any goblins. Might need to mess with those LODs a little bit. Second room is lucky. No goblins. Third room. Where's our goblins? Do we need to turn their chance up? Are they too tiny to see? What's going on? Let's find the first one. Oh, they're all off in funky places. What's going on here? Oh, base Z plus C. And this is cell position X. That's all good and fine, right? Was it just the Z? The door spawned over there. I didn't expect that. It's okay, I guess. It's really dark. Can't see any monsters. Oops, I clicked play. Meant to click pause. Let's see. First room, there's a ton of goblins. Wow. Is this the first room? It didn't do that in the last room. There is just a ton of monsters in here. And they are angry. Did it do that to every room? It's funny. Looks like it went through this room a whole bunch of times. For some reason. Skip the first room, but then generate monsters for all the rooms. grab a room, grab the cell position. These guys are also, wait, why are you gonna do that? These guys are also pause. Base X, right? X, dungeon generator cell size, Z. We're looking at the current cells, populated areas, making sure that they are floors. If they are, and we get less than or equal to the spawn chance, we want to spawn a monster using the base X, which should be times 20. The base Y, which is going to be 0 to start out, base Z, and then spawn monster. We didn't get any errors. Spawn monster, set parent, position equals X times 3, Y times 3, Z times 3. Generate monsters, I base. Dungeon cells, I. That's a little weird. Not spawning beyond the first room and spawning way too many in the first room. Whole bunch of them in here, but nothing over here. That is very odd. Why would it do that? And they're a little bit off position too. I think I need to do something like plus 1.5-ish. But why is that not working out? Let's debug our position.toString. I'm not sure I set that up for int3. I didn't. Should work anyway, even if I don't overwrite it. But what the heck? Plus X plus Y plus Z. Just to make sure it is cycling through all those cells and their numbers haven't all been reset for some funky reason. X and Z are changing as expected. This time we didn't get any. Is it something to do with this? We're doing this. Oh, yeah, that's not nice. We definitely want to do at least position X plus X. Position Z plus Z. Otherwise it's just doing a room-based check. So it was passing for every XZ if it ever passed. Okay, that makes sense. Now we've got 3 in the first room. We've got 4 or 5 in the second room. Okay, so they're all spawning nice all over the place. Cool. Looks like a dungeon. We're just gonna want to make sure that we get some treasure. I think I need to mess with these LODs a little bit, mess with the lighting a bit more. Definitely would like more torches and light sources. It's really dark in there. And I don't really want to churn up the ambient. Lighting, but for example, we can churn up the torch light range to like 25. Who else has, let's see, our brazier has 15. That can go up to 25 too. I think those are the only ones that are giving off light right now. Candle pillar. Let's go ahead and add some lights to these. And we'll just make them smaller, and we'll add candle effects later on. Light, point light, like so. We also want to animate these lights so that they flicker, because that's cool. We'll put these guys at 15. Definitely want them a bit yellowish. I'm gonna copy that, save it, and get to the candles on the ground. So why not? Not casting shadows. I think you should. I think I forgot to set that up here too. Hard shadows. And I did up it so that there's a lot more candles on the ground spawning. Yeah, and that's a lot brighter for those torches too. That's not so bad. Let's see, little bits of candles all over. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I think one of the next steps will be to add some walls. So these aren't all just big squares, you know what I mean? What is this guy doing? Oh, I'm still just looking at you, huh? You know, they're all just squares right now. Maybe add some gates and some this and some that, but monsters are spawning. I need to get some treasure chests. Get some different room shapes, maybe. But for now, I'm going to just take a short break. And I'll be right back. Right. Don't need the debug anymore. Monsters are spawning. Let's see. What to do? It's kind of like, how far do we take this before we implement a first version into the actual game itself? And I do need to work on some of these LODs a bit, I think. Let's look at that in first person though again. Like, there should be a candle here, and that's kind of popping in too late. I think that was really only the big one though. Everything else is pretty normal. Like I say, I would like to see more torches. Not a lot of torches being spawned. I like getting a feel of the shape of the room, even if you can't see everything that's in the room. Which we did up a little bit already. Only to 2 though, huh? So let's up the, well, and when I move it, I guess it will actually save these. Decoration. Low decoration spawn chance is currently at 0.4. Really? Sure about that? Base x plus x, base y, base z plus z. I definitely want to put these in parentheses. Otherwise it's going to do x times 1, 2, 3 first. But do we have a number of checks? I would like to see more torches and chains. Let's say there's 4 times as much chance, 5 times for chains. And what are we at? 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we want this to go up to 11. What do you think's most important? Different shaped rooms, or still not a lot of torches? Are there lots of chains? There's some chains. It just feels kind of like it's not actually giving me a 40% chance, is what it suggested there. Well, there's a bunch of torches. They all grouped up over there. There are a lot of chains and torches. Well, it looks like 40% chance. But then this one, far less over here. Why is that? I suppose it's going to be this base x isn't actually changing. Base x plus 5, 1 times 555 should be a pretty big different number because we're multiplying it by 555. So even if it only changes once, it's going to be a pretty different spot on the noise. That's the reason for doing those. Spawn low decoration. Likewise, these guys random is based on their XZ position. Well, that's random generation for you. So do we focus on changing up the room shapes a bit more? Which actually does make things quite a bit more complicated. Well, let's think about that. When we generate a cell, generate a room, currently it's just going through and carving a square out. Now, this stuff just keeps us from blocking the squares that are necessary for an incoming downward staircase. These are the ones that block us from, or keep us from blocking a downward going staircase. Let's put little comments there. Stops floors from spawning over a downward staircase, and this one stops ceilings from spawning inside of a downcoming staircase. So those guys are fine, and they're limited to no more than 2 steps from the very center. And we upped the cell size to 20. So we've still got something like 8 on both sides to play with. So we could easily, you would think, carve out some chunks. Where are we marking these as? Populated area equals floor. Okay, so something like before we start the loops, we could determine specific areas to not be marked as floors, which would cause pillars of walls to be drawn. I was thinking of indenting certain corners, for example. If we indent a corner too far, that does leave the possibility, for example, if this corner was carved out like this to make an L-shaped room, we would then have to make the corridor math a little bit smarter so that it knew to go all the way to where it needs to go, or limit itself to where it can go. If we tried to limit it though, then it could be possible that only this bit remains and only this bit remains. But we can certainly limit it so that there's always at least like 3 squares out of the 20 like say 4 squares. So that shouldn't be a problem. I do think cutting out some corners would be nice to get rid of these square shapes. And then we'll upgrade the corridor math to be aware of that. So let's say we've come into a new room. We want to determine if any corner to indent. So I'm going to want a float. I don't think I have any randoms in here yet. So I'm going to just say rand. Another thing that we could do int corner equals get random, and then let's do base x. No, we're not using that here. We really should use that because that just gets annoying. Yeah, look at all of these we've got all over. Int base x equals current cell dot cell position times cell size lateral base x. We want a y and a z as well. This is cell position dot x, cell position dot y times vertical, and then this is z times lateral. And we can now replace all of these with base x. Likewise, we can replace all of these with base z. And I don't think I have any base y's going on anywhere. Cell size lateral divided by 2. Let's make an int called half size equals cell size lateral divided by 2. Because there's a lot of that going on. No, where's the first one? I think that was the first one. All of these are now half size. That just makes things easier to read. This stuff is still a little funky. Base x plus, yeah, those are kind of necessary evils. So anyway, int 3 position, no, this is our problem. Int corner equals get random. So we're going to want to do that after we've determined these numbers. Get random base x times 285 base. I do have a yz. Okay, let's go ahead and do y times 396 and base z times 174. And we want this to be between, let's say, 0 and let's say 6, in other words 7. Now let's go ahead and say that our int startx equals, currently it's this guy, right? That's our start x, and then we're going to have a end x, which basically equals this guy, end x. Hi, kitty. And likewise, we're going to do int start z. The reason I'm moving these to new positions is because we're going to change them in the event of spawning a corner. So, those are our loops. However, let's go ahead and push the source tree here once. Yeah, you know, go for it. I got disk space, it's fine. It doesn't want to version control the models and all of that stuff, and that's understandable, but anyway, we'll let that run while we... So, let's put this over here. And so now what I'm doing here, basically, if corner is equal to 0, then I'm going to change, let's see. I guess if I change the start x or the end x directly, that's just gonna shrink the room. So that's not what we want. But whatever, it doesn't hurt to have moved those there. Right now we're working on a dungeon generator. So we've got monsters spawning, light sources, rubble, and the rooms are interconnected. We also have, let's see, where's a room down? We have rooms that go downward to the next floor. And eventually, ooh, rocks right in the way, that's kind of nasty. More monsters, lights and stuff. And I just clicked something, I don't know what I clicked, shift space, that's not what I want. I broke Unity. I broke it. Okay. Eventually we get to, well, it looks like it ended, and that's kind of not nice. We don't really want to end having gone downward. So rocks are kind of not really sticking out like maybe they might want to. So we're probably going to fix that. Not really. Monitors are pretty cheap nowadays, honestly. I would definitely say widescreen, but not a big deal. I usually just have this small window, is all that I actually look in the 3D in. Most of the time I'm programming. I would say your CPU is more important, or at least gonna eat up more of your money than your monitor should. And that finished. Let's say monsters and entrance added. Commit that just to make sure we don't mess anything up down the road. So what were we doing? I mean, you know, look at 23 inch for $100. They're pretty cheap nowadays. I think this is actually what I'm using on the right here. Might be why it's showing it to me, because I bought it before. I've got the dual monitor setup going on. Definitely recommend getting monitor arms like this that connect to the back of the desk, so you have open space underneath the monitor. That makes a big difference than if you've got this big stupid stand right there. Gives you a lot more desk space. Very, very nice. I got my calendar right under my monitor and speakers and stuff. So anyway, we can't just offset the start and the end. It's still fine that we moved them here. That does clean this up. Looks nicer, easier to understand. But I'm gonna have to do something like defining, let's see. Maybe I do an int2 called start x offset. So basically, we've got our square, and then I'm gonna try to define a chunk to not spawn, right? So if this is 0, this is 20 right now. This is also 20. Our loops are going through this directions, X and then Z. So we want it to say if you're on Z, say up until 4, offset the X to be whatever this is. So if corner equals 0, start X offset equals, let's say X is now going to be let's just do 4 by 4 to start out with. And I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of the if for now and do this to every room just to see what it does. So now our start X offset is this. So we're just going to do a check and see if X equals less than start X offset dot X, and our Z is also less than start Z offset. We don't have, wait, no, start X offset dot Z. Then I'm going to just continue and not do anything. So if we're at a point that is less than 4 and also less than 4, should be just that corner. That should give us a good thing, I think we just want to make sure that we don't do that on the first one. He is calling generate room. So let's just go ahead and put, let's go ahead and put all of this. If current cell, current cell dot populated, let's see, how to do this, cell position. I don't have any markings. I kind of want to add some markings to this too, like is entrance, is secret, is end kind of stuff. But I don't have any of that yet. So we can just say if current cell position dot x equals 0, and we've already got that marked off as pause, right? Yeah, base x. No, let's do, well, those are all going to be the same, aren't they? But yeah, let's just do pause. Pause x is equal to 0, pause dot y is equal to 0, and pause dot z is equal to 0. Actually, we want to make sure these all are not. So in the first room, we don't allow any of these shenanigans. And also, this is not quite enough. We need to do start x plus 4 and start z plus 4. Otherwise, we're going to just be marking off already empty space. All right, let's give that a try. And hopefully we will see that all rooms beyond the first have disappeared. Where are we? Went too far out. Nope, looks like that didn't do anything. Alright. Does not, well, that's true. This, if any of those. Yeah, that's not proper logic there. We need to do just in the case of this. You're not allowed to do that. Otherwise, you can go ahead, do as you please. But still, yeah, that would have stopped every room on the first floor from doing that. Now we can see that every room has an indent. What's up with these walls? You've got a ceiling right there. You don't need walls up there, sir. Let me look at that real quick. Generate wall. We're not actually checking that. It's just using the size. And I was actually thinking about increasing these for bigger monsters. What would it look like if, for example, I moved this guy up 3? Is that terrible? It's pretty big, but that's kind of cool. I'll probably go that route later. I'll have to add those pillars here, but that's fine. Anyway, Yeah, let's look at that real quick. Well, first of all, if y equals 0, we're generating the door. So let's change the door to be different. Door is now going to be 3 up, and we're going to add some stone pillars to him, like so. Another one at 3. And we don't need to add walls, that should do it. So I'm now going to, he's just going to be bigger. So now when we generate ceilings, which takes place in a few different places, generate corridor ceilings, here we go. Tank training, interesting. I haven't used one of the curved monitors yet. I got a buddy that just bought like the big ass one. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Like it's like more. It's like 2.2 screens, big, and I don't know that I would like that. I think he says he likes it though. You know, I mean, I guess I'm just using 2 monitors anyway. I guess I just worry about the lock points. Like if you had good lock points, then it wouldn't matter. Just to make sure, or anchor points, you know, and make sure this program's here, that program's there, that program's there. Generate ceiling, I'm now going to move you up 1. And I kind of want to, yeah, we should, for performance reasons, make sure that, what are the other ceilings? This is just the room. Wait, what? Generate corridor. What is all of this? Oh, yeah, that's fine. Cell size vertical +2. Would prefer to have those in parentheses, but not a big deal. And the other, why is there another generate ceiling being called here? Who are you, sir? Generate room. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. He's using room height. There is, however, walls that are spawning, I think, during this. Walls are their own thing up here, right? Generate walls. If it's a door, if it's a floor, we are going through the wall. I guess for here we can just say it's gonna still generate that wall where the door is supposed to be, isn't it? If y equals 0, we'll generate the door. If it's a north door, so these are the door bits, huh? Okay. If else if y is equal to 1, I guess we can say else if y is greater than 1, because we don't want it to interfere with our now bigger door prefab. That's fine for the doors. But then for these bits, if it is a corridor and y equals less than or equal to 1, looks like that wasn't firing. If it's a floor or it's a corridor and y equals less than or equal to 1, because we had some that were spawning 3 high using the room sizes. Yeah, I could use 3, especially now that I'm streaming. It'd be nice to have like Discord, and I'm planning to get a desk for Christmas. The same desk, but mirrored, so I can stick them together. And then hopefully like I say, it's only $100 for these really nice flat screen monitors that I'm using. Probably get. I'm supposed to be making a wish list for my mom. She wants to see. Oh, we got a problem. We got a problem. Oh, somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Been a while since I had a sales guy like that show up. He wanted to paint my house, and he was the type, just 5 minutes of your time. And couldn't get him to leave till I said, actually, I'm streaming live right now, so go away. And I was very nice about it. I didn't say go away. But anyway, let's see now. What were we doing? We were looking at corridor. Yeah, we made the doors bigger, and they are working fine. And they are not spawning 3 high on this side as expected. So that's great. We need to reposition ourselves on something so we don't get that going on. Okay. However, we have a corridor problem. We didn't update that math, knew it would happen. So, how do we want to do that? Everything else looks good. Generate corridor, where are you? We're currently grabbing the min and the max. Simply based on the room size. However, maybe we would like to store, well, we've got the populated areas grids lined up properly. What if we stop relying on these? We loop through the middle and we look to see loop through the middle. Why would that work? No, we want to loop the edge. Okay, so we've got all these numbers. Let's see. Current min and current max. And this is our current cell. So let's actually loop through cell size, math format, cell, room depth. These are the actual grid numbers locally. So we can say for int I equals current min z, as long as I equals less than or equal to. Are we doing any less than or equal to? We're getting the position using the max z, so we're not doing equal to. We're actually going to be able to grab that. So just less than the current one. We're already using I, so let's not do that. Z equals less than current max z plus plus, and in doing so, we're looking for cell.populated areas. This is our z. What is our x? X should, no, yeah, we do want to be on the edge. Okay, so we want to what is the x? Min x, current min x. Minus 4. We don't know which direction we're actually looking at, do we? So after we figure all of this data out, and we have determined that we're going south is where this is going to happen. I just kind of want to reorganize these to like so. And that's our min z and our max z, but we're probably not going to be using those anymore. Maybe we will. Yeah. I think we can still use those. It's just that if the cell direction we came from the south, That means we're looking at the north face of our cell. So we know that the X position should always be the same which is the start X that we have already determined here. Start X index, populated areas, S door. Where's the actual loop? There it is. Okay. So it's even further down. We've got our start X, we've got our end X, and I want you to hold off on those. Now, if we are we're looking at our start X, and we're looping through our Z's. And now if this does not equal area type floor, this is corridor generation, right? Yeah. If this does not equal area type floor, current min Z if this guy does not equal floor, if our max Z is less than because we're going to run into the possibility of hitting either this corner or hitting either this corner in our check. So we can't just assume that we need to just add or subtract to it. Current min Z, let's say we go halfway. How about? This guy's only get a chunk. We're never going to go more than currently doing 4 out of 20. So if max, let's not go all the way to Z equals max Z. Let's go all the way to let's say int half size equals cell lateral divided by 2. So current min, as long as Z equals less than half size, if it's not floor, or should we just look for the first floor? If it equals floor and min Z is less than this current Z, in that case min Z now needs to be set to Z, and we can break out of this for loop. Double check for indents, dented corners, resetting start Z. as necessary. Likewise, I'm going to do the same thing for z equals current max z, so long as z equals greater than half size, and I'm going to be going backwards this time. And we're going to grab the start x. I think we actually want start x minus 1 in this case. Yeah. Start x minus 1 z, if it's equal to floor and our max z is greater than the z, then we need to change it to be the new z. Now that's only if we're going there. We need to be doing that for all of these. It's probably, like I say, a nice way to turn this all into variables and pass it through a single method rather than running it 4 separate times. But what the hell? Thank you for the follow, Chief Chirpa. So that was only the north wall. Now we're going to be looking at the south wall, which means we're not going to be using the start x. We're going to be using the end x. Hold up. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is going north, so the start x was actually cell direction. Use the current cell as start, which I'm not doing. I got these backwards. Did I get my comments backwards? If cell direction is south, that means we came from the south. But we always want to go north, so we're using the old cell. Yeah, use. So this comment is incorrect, and I should have been checking end x, because we're always going to be looking at the current. Do I have to check both? I have to check both, don't I? Might be better to write these down somewhere rather than doing all these checks. It's starting to get a little difficult with all these checks. What if instead we have like a public int 2 that says what do we want? Northeast, southwest, min-maxes. North, min-max. And when we generate the room, and we've determined that we want to add a corner, that means that we need to offset. Basically, we just need to set, what's this guy called? Current cell. Current cell dot And we're currently only testing, I believe, south. Whoops, hit F again. Yeah, we're currently only making 0, 0 corners, so we're going to be affecting the south and the east walls. The south min-max dot max, it's going to be our z, is now equal to current cell dot room size. We've already figured all of that out, right? Half size, let's say half size, half size minus, and right now we're just doing 4. No, that's the center point. Start X offset, half size plus south it's going to be our start Z, half size plus start Z yeah, this is our south min plus 4. And 4 is an arbitrary number we've just pulled out of our butts for right now. Likewise, the current cells east min max, and at this time we're going to be doing, no, this time also we're going to be doing the min. It's going to be half size plus the start X plus 4. So now we're marking these cells starting east and south sides as increased by what would normally be just their room size. Yeah, I don't want half size in there, do I? Just want to do start Z, which incorporates all of that, plus 4, start X plus 4. Yeah, that looks good. So now when we go to generate corridors, we don't have to do those 4 loops. Where's corridors? Yeah, we're not going to do these, though I will comment this one out just for now, just in case we want to look at it. What we're doing now is, I don't actually have to do any of this. Well, yeah, we want to grab both of them, but we're not just guessing. So we want to explicitly assign those when we do generate the room. In all cases, meaning that's the entrance. When we generate the cell, here we've got the width, the depth, and the height. So now our dungeon cells north min max is going to equal a new int 2 of, let's see, north edge is going to be the Z. That's going to be our depth. So it's going to be dungeon cell dot depth divided by 2. And we've actually already figured that out right here, right? Yeah, that's what these are themselves. So we're not going to need these anymore, but we'll go ahead and use them right here. Goes new into cell lateral size divided by 2. That moves us into the middle. And the minimum is going to be subtracted using floor of the current cells. That wasn't called current cell? Dungeon cell. Dungeon cell's room depth divided by 2. Then the maximum is using ceil to int to make sure that our odd numbers get used properly. And again, this is dungeon cell. So we're not going to be needing to calculate those elsewhere anymore. Likewise, the south min and max for right now is going to be the exact same, which means that we can skip the math and just do dungeon cell dot north min max dot x dungeon cell dot north min max dot z. Now I also want to do the east min max equals, in which case we're going to be using this. East is going to be minus. And I didn't organize these the same yet, but we're probably going to actually not be using these anymore, so that's fine. Like so, and this is dungeon cell. And my wife is back. Here, her car door. Current max is going to be, is it this one? Else, yeah. Hopefully she doesn't try to make me go rollerblading with her or something weird. Because I'm at work and she probably left her keys in her car or something. I'll be right back. Can't find her keys, borrowed mine.何? 調べるだけで? ん? ああ、ありがとう。12時でいい? And likewise, I can do west equals east. East. I think that that's all correct. Minus plus. Looks good. So now these all have their defaults set up. However, in the special occasion of generate room. Why is generate room so far down here? That keeps confusing me. Generate room should be above walls and floors. Or corridors. Anyway. So now down here we're altering it. Start X offset we're changing it good. Now when we go to generate the corridor, so we've actually already got all of this data now. Cell, like we don't need this at all, really. Where are we using this? Why don't we just say cell dot, and again, we don't yet know if we're going south or north, so we can't actually figure that out yet. We need to figure out what side we're on first, where we used to do it up here. Now we can go ahead and just say min z equals, let's see, we don't even need that. Go straight to here, start x equals old cell position dot x. I might want to put some headphones on for 30 minutes. Really hard time concentrating when someone's running around doing stuff. Start x equals old cell dot cell position dot x plus times cell size dot lateral. Yeah. 이 헤드폰 가게 돼. 30분. You can convert the scripts. C plus and C++ and C sharp aren't that terribly different. Not super easy by any means, but certainly doable. The problem is objects. Game objects. Yeah, these headphones aren't working. I can't hear my own voice. I'm just gonna have to suffer. Interfaces, things like that. You know, like right here I've got a mesh renderer and all of these components and stuff. That's all completely different in Unreal. So the code, you can sort of port it to Unreal if you know what you're doing, but not scenes and things. You really have to rebuild a lot of stuff by hand. So trying to focus really hard with lots of loud noise and movement going on in the background. Start X. We now know that the direction of the cell we're looking at is south, meaning it came from the south, in which case we're going to start on the old cell. So we can take the old cells. We still need to find the min max though, but yeah, we want to do that here. So let's take these and this, put them in here, and now we can say not this kind of stuff, but doesn't matter which order I do these in, but again, we're coming from the south in this situation, so usually my wife has work during weekdays or is quietly watching TV or something. I don't know what she's cleaning. It's driving me nuts. These cells, the current cell we're at came from the south, so the corridor that we're trying to set up is beneath us, so the current cell is looking at its south min-max, and if its min, which would be its x, is greater than the old cell's north, the old cell's north min-max, which would be its, min, yeah. And depending on which is bigger, if the minimum is bigger, we want to use it. Otherwise, we want to use the old cells. North min-max.x. The maximum is going to be very similar. It's just going to be the z, and we want to look for less. And then we're going to figure out which is which using the min-max z, and I think that this is all good and well. We can leave that alone. So we're not actually using this stuff anymore, right? Yeah. Not using that. We do need to set those up outside there, huh? Because the loop is actually at the bottom. And we're setting the doors. Good. So now all that we change is we're moving this into inside of all of these. If we're not going south, that means we're going north. That means we now want to use my north side with the old south side. And like so. Just swapping north and south. And that should be the same. Now, crossing multiple cells. Yeah, we'll come back to that. We want to do the same thing down here. We don't need any of this anymore. just figuring this out. However, now it's x, max x, min x, max x. And if our current is east, that means that we came from the east, which means we're now looking at our east wall, right? The event of south, In the event of south, we're looking at south. In the event of north, we're looking at north. In the event of east, we're looking at east. And this guy is looking at his west. East, east, and west. Oops, west, west. Likewise down here, if we're now going west, we want to be doing west, west, and east, east, west, west, east, east. And this is not Z position, this is X position, using X, blah, 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 X, X, and that's going to be the same down here. Forgot to name these guys properly. And how are we looking? Cell.west. I think that's all good. Start Z. And all of that is unchanged. So we just need to figure out the loops here now. Z position. P start X and X. Z position is set up right here, where it used to be set up outside. Okay, so we just need that to be one of these guys. Like so. And I'm thinking everything is going to work just the same. Beyond that. So let's give it a try. Oh, I did. Sorry. What was I doing? Oh, I tried to turn some music on and just ended up bothering me more than anything. Well, I couldn't hear my own voice. I was just trying to drown out the action going on behind me. Sorry about that. Alright, we messed things up. Not a big deal. Dungeon generator 358. Right here, old cell populated areas, X position. Start Z. Let's get a debug going and look at what are you trying to do. It's going to want me to encapsulate those. Hopefully it will error there again before it errors somewhere else. 27 and 15. That is outside of the bounds. Cell position, cell lateral size. Okay, so X position is not correct. Cell dot cell position X times cell lateral size plus get random cell position min max. Okay. So let's debug log r min x plus r max x. These aren't getting set up properly somewhere. We're setting them up inside of generate room, wasn't it? Or was it generate cell? There we go. I'm just gonna debug one of these just to see that it's not doing something really weird. Dungeon cell dot north min max dot to string. Let's say DC n plus. Look at some of the numbers we get. These all look fine. Min max, min max. 19's cutting it close there. This time it looks like we hit the other one that's not being debugged. Does that work with the same debugs? I think so. Okay, so our min-max is 2916. That's not acceptable. But these guys look like they're getting all set properly. So X, X, Z, 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 Z. Min, max, X position. Well, we already know that our min is funky, right? West min X, East min X. West min X, East min X. Is one of these not doing what it's supposed to, maybe? This brings us into the middle, and then we're subtracting half of the room width divided by 2. This brings us into the middle, and we are adding half of the room width divided by 2. And then we're just copying from the east for the west. That's why those all look the same and good. So how are we getting 29? Let's just go ahead and grab all of these. North, south, east, west. See if one of them is being funked with. Don't think so, though. It looks good. Min max, min max, min max, min max. All looks fine and dandy. And then all of a sudden we get to a 27. 27. If the x is greater than the other x, use it. Otherwise, use that. C should be the main. That's why we have the bigger number over here. And there's no 27s in any of that anyway. Min x is just grabbing one of those, plain up. So is somebody messing with these somewhere? We got this going on, don't we? Okay. So this is messing us up somehow. We've already got it where it wants to be. We don't really need to add start there, do we? Why don't we just say plus equals 4? That should solve what we're currently running into, but is that really what we want to do in this block of code? It fixes our problems. I don't have a door. That's a serious problem. Some funky happenings. So it figured that out properly, I think, but it didn't use this properly. And I kind of want to make the first cell generate room, generate corridor, which we don't do for the first one. We only do it for the second and forward. If, let's see, if cell direction south or north, and we're going to get, it's always going to be south. It's always going to be north for the first one, right? Element 0 is south. Alright, it came from the south. Okay. So we know that this guy is always going to be here. If I equals 1, that's the first room. Let's go ahead and interrupt everything somewhere, like the Z position. If I equals 1, then Z position just should be cell lateral divided by 2. So we always want that one to spawn right in the middle. Or did you kill him from the outside or something? The big guys. Interesting. Yeah, they don't fit in there at all anyway. There should be goblins and stuff in there, I think. We'll move the fire elementals to the fire plane, where they should be. Dirty cheater. That will solve that, but that's just a hack. Let's go back to looking at... There's our first door. There were, however, most likely other corridors that are going to break. Maybe not. Things actually look good. I don't know why I assumed that they would break. It's not definite. Here could be that's a near miss there. Coming down. Oh, and it looks like it spawned a goblin and some things inside of its staircase. Where's the staircase exit? Staircase exit is over here. Are you kidding me? Yep, that is a problem. It cut the corner into there. Let's go ahead. Well, let's finish what we're doing first. We got these guys all signing up properly. What was the error that we were getting? It was the min was getting messed with. But it's not anymore. Should we just regenerate a few times and see if we can break it? Well, seems to be working now. Let's look at scene view. Oh, I'm not destroying my goblins. That's bad. They are... What are these chains doing too? What are all those chain clones? Where did that come from? That must be... That was weird. You guys, are you not getting parented to something? I guess you're just not getting destroyed. But we don't want to worry about that just yet. Is this working now? Looked kind of like I thought we had an error going on, and then I fixed it, and I'm terribly distracted, and it's 3 minutes to lunch. In short, we're now using the provided data. Start x equals. Yeah, so we can't just... no, that works. Start x and end x. In the cases, what's important is the min z and the max z. We pick between those. And we are now doing that properly for all of them. And the quarter draw loops remain unchallenged. Okay, so I'm just going to make some notes before I go to lunch here. Got a lot of these open. What is this? Fixed all of that. Let's just, yeah, I can save that. 7, I'll leave that open. Okay, so staircase is still spawning stuff inside of it, and corners can cause rooms. Corners can cause rooms with staircases in them to become untraversable. Don't need to save that, just to have it to click Control S. Let's go back to where we were generating that corner for just a second. So what I was doing here was grabbing a random corner, and if we're at the start, we definitely don't want to apply a corner to it. However, let's say corner 0 equals like that, and I'm gonna do one, two, three. So then there will also be 5 and 6, which will have a chance to have no corner. But in this case, this guy is southwest, no, southeast. So let's say that this guy is southwest, this guy is northwest, and this guy is northeast, in which case start x offset. Okay, yeah, my wife is not gonna let me program for another minute. So I'm gonna log off here, and I will be back in an hour after I grab some lunch, and we can finish up shaping these rooms a bit differently. Thank you for the follow and the chats, and